Welcome back to the 4 a.m. Talks podcast. I'm your host Manoj Velu, and you're listening to the 4 a.m. Talks podcast. This is episode number 49, and we are just one episode away from reaching the 50th episode. So I'm super excited to bring this 49th episode to you. And before I get into this 50th episode, I just wanted to talk about the 50th episode that we are going to do. So next week we don't have a Monday and a Friday episode, so it will be only on Sunday. So the next episode is going to be a special episode, so we have decided to do it on next Sunday. So next week, Tuesdays and Fridays, there will be only shorts, YouTube shorts, and it will be a small 1 or 2 minute clip, kind of a message, kind of a video where we would be talking about the 50th episode as well. So this is all about what we are going to do in the coming week. Alright, with that, let's get into today's topic. So before I get into this topic, I just wanted to thank you, as I always do in most of my episodes. Because of you, we have reached this 49th episode and one episode away from getting to our 50th episode, and I'm really super excited about it. So without you, this wouldn't have been possible. I wouldn't be standing in front of you talking about the things that I always wanted to talk about, and you always coming back, just taking the things that you wanted to take from this episode and get into the mode of getting better and always reflecting on the things that you always wanted to improve, and you are doing it. And I sincerely appreciate you for your efforts, and that mindset of constantly improving is what is making you to come back to these episodes, and I know that, and I'm super happy and thankful for that. So thank you very much. So with all these, let's get into today's episode. So today's episode is going to be a different episode. Today's episode, I'm just going to talk about something that you would have already known about, but you wouldn't have paid much attention to. You know what I'm talking about? There are few people who are going after their dreams. Or I would say most of you are going after your dreams. In that percentage, most of them, let's say 85% of them would quit in the middle. You know why? There is different factors that comes into play when somebody quits, but the most important thing is they feel that the result has to come right away, right at that moment. As soon as they do it, it has to come to them. The world is moving fast. You have to be fast. You have to be quick. You have to keep it going. But the dreams that you are going after doesn't work that way. So why am I telling you this? Most of them, when they are going after something, let's say for example, they are starting a YouTube channel, let's say, the competition are obviously, so high and everything. But if you imagine John Carpenter starting a YouTube channel. He starts, and as he goes about it, he is improving, but he's not having that mindset of looking into betterment, rather than he's looking at the end result, which is really not in his control. He can constantly get better, and sometime the result will come. You should always think about getting that improvement that you always wanted to. Because if you're not better in your craft, then obviously one day or the other, people are not going to watch your content, and eventually you're going to go back to the level that you always, been there at the start. So with this in mind, John Carpenter starts. He is not having that attitude of, looking at the betterment, rather than he's just looking at the results. And you know what happens after 50th or 60th episode? He stops. Now at that moment of quitting, if he would have asked what is the chance that if I quit now, will I be able to succeed? The answer is zero. Zero. This is the topic that I wanted to talk about today. If you quit, you know what you're saying? I am not going to do no matter what. Instead of saying I'm gonna do no matter what, even if the result is not in my way, I am making sure that I'm getting better every single episode, and someday or the other the output, the result that I wanted will be even more good. It will be exponentially good, and it will come out in a way more than what I thought. This is the moment that most of them are lacking. They start something business. I've seen so many people, they start the business, they quit. There are number of factors that depend on the planning and all the other things, work ethic, and that is all is fine, I get it. But the most important thing is when you want to win, when you wanted to succeed, quitting is not an option. Quitting is not an option. You will be tempted multiple times. The nature is going to test you in all possible ways because it knows that you are going after a massive success. But if you want to achieve that status, you have to go through certain kind of setbacks or failures or whatever you can call. But you can call that as a failure if you only quit. If you look that as an opportunity to learn, improve and grow, then it's not failure actually. It's something that happened beautifully to you to make sure that you are going one step deeper and understanding that, okay, this is what I'm not good at. I'm going to improve, and I'm going to make sure that I play a next level game. I'm going to get up to that A-level game whenever I'm going to do my episodes. If John Carpenter thinks in this way, definitely one day or the other he would be able to make it. But what happens is he is not having this kind of mindset. Similar to John's mindset, most of you watching this have this idea, have this mindset. If you're having this, please make sure that you click on the delete button right away. Right now, please delete it. Because if you want to say I'm gonna win, but if your auto system, your brain and the body that you have and the way you process it has that option of quitting, it's the winning is not for you. Instead, replace that quit button with a word called opportunity to learn, opportunity to improve, opportunity to grow. You can replace it with any of the words that I have told you and see how it changes you. Look into perspective of always keep improving. So this topic of whatever I wanted to talk about is really an important factor where you have to keep considering it. I talked about temptation. There will be so many challenges. You know what is the biggest challenge that you gotta face when you are going after something? That is you. You would be asking, how me? How can I be the one who's the greatest obstacle for myself to achieve the dream? I'm gonna tell you now. So imagine you are going after something. Let's say John Carpenter, he's opened a YouTube channel. He wanted to be a YouTuber. He wanted to talk about a lot of self-improvement things and wanted to achieve whatever he wanted to on the big scale. If this is his dream, the first thing that he has to ask himself is, what is that one thing which he is truly passionate about? So if you take it, if that question was asked to me, I would say stories. Okay, so I'm going to use stories as a tool to communicate whatever I wanted to talk about and take a particular topic and explain it in a better way. Even though if people don't remember whatever I'm trying to talk about, they will definitely remember the story, and that story is enough to prove whatever the things that I'm talking about, and they did not have to worry if they have not concentrated on the things that I talked about, except if they fully pay attention to the story that I've always told in every episode that we have done till today. So this is my strategy. What is John's strategy? So once you start, if you don't have that strategy, then what will happen is you won't know where you are going. It's there is no direction. You are in India, and if you want to go to Australia, there is a map, there is a direction set. So you're going to say, I'm going to start here, I'm going to go to the airport. From the airport, this is going to the places where it has to travel to, and it takes the shortest route to make sure that I reach quickly as possible to Australia. So there is a plan set up and the direction is set. So the same way, the strategy has to be in place to make sure that you are in that path, and you have to try different strategies. You have to see why this works out, why this doesn't work out, and why. That is more important. Why doesn't it worked out? Because of the time, because of the the strategy itself was a wrong thing at that point of time, or it is just that it didn't work out totally and it's a wrong strategy. So you have to make sure that you understand all these things and keep getting better. That is the most important thing. So with all this, whatever I've said, you have to remember only this in this episode. When you go back from this episode, after listening to this episode, you have to just make sure that in your system, if there is a button of quitting, an option, just delete it and replace it with a word called a growth mindset, opportunity mindset, or improvement mindset. Please replace with these kind of words and see how your life changes. And always think about improvement, betterment, growth, and you and the only thing that I wanted to say is, if it's not happening, let's say the result is not where it is not happening to you, or it is not coming to you, whatever it is, and you're working, don't worry. Just imagine that as a tank, and it is just getting filled and it is getting saved in some device. So once that gets filled up, definitely it's gonna pour, and if it pours, it will be like endless. So that success will be called as a massive success, and you will get that provided if you think yourself to play the longer game and not for the short term that you wanted to do. If you're doing it short term, it is not your passion. That is what I could say. You have to have that long term mindset to play the longer game, and making sure that the quitting is not your option at all. It is not there in your system. It doesn't exist. So once every time you get up, you say quitting is not an option for me. Every day you'll be tempted, every single day. So that temptation is dangerous. Once you get into that idea of quitting, most of the times whatever you're going to do, most times since you have that option in your system, you will be tempted to click on that option, and that is a dangerous thing ever. It could happen in your life, in every aspect of life, not only professional, even your personal life will be disturbed because you're doing that. This will happen because you can't have that perfect environment mindset where everything whatever you wished for is going to happen. No, it's going to happen, and you're going to find ways to make sure that you get along, and get along in the sense not with the opinion way that I'm talking about, with the things that it can be suited the best, and you are in the right headspace, and making sure that you are always in the right headspace to do whatever you wanted to do. So these are the dangerous things, these temptations, and always if you have that option of quitting, don't have that kind of mentality and that option in your mindset or in your system, it is going to distract you, it's going to destroy you, it's going to self-sabotage you every single moment of your life. With that being said, I wish you all a good success, and please go after your dream and make sure that you don't quit. With that, have a wonderful day, everyone. I'll see you in the 50th episode, the special episode that I'm gonna come up with, and it's a little bit of surprise in there. It's not going to be a usual episode like this. It's going to be a bit longer, but it's going to be really interesting, and I can't wait to see you on the 50th episode. But the next week there is going to be YouTube shorts, a short videos, both on Tuesdays and Fridays, but on Sunday it is going to be the most weighted episode. Especially me, I'm really excited for that 50th episode, so I will see you there. With that, have a wonderful day, everyone. I'll see you. Take care. Bye.